Was today normal? I mean, did it feel normal?
Yeah, we had a great practice. It's good.
Draymond, how the time you spent away, how was it good for you?
It was great. I spent a lot of time with my kids. Um, Made eggs with my son. Taught him how to cook. I cook really good eggs, so I taught him how to cook some eggs. It was great. Um, Spent a lot of time with my kids, but also a lot of time dealing with this stuff too. So it's been some long days, but it's good.
Did you learn anything about yourself that you didn't already know?
I learn about myself every day. I think, that's, as I said before, the moment you stop working on yourself, you get worse. And so I think I learn new things about myself every day. That's always the goal.
You feel like things are in a good place right
Huh?
now? Do you feel like things are in a better place? I guess as you come back than they were a few days ago.
Yeah. I think the more time we get away from the things, the better. We had our conversations about what we needed to do moving forward, and we're going to do that. We're not going to continue to hold on to the past. Doesn't mean, people don't have feelings towards what happened or a situation, but we do all have goals, individual goals, team goals, and we understand what needs to be done in order to reach those, and that's what's our focus.
Do you feel like you're in like a better mental state or space than where you were maybe a week ago?
Yeah, I feel good. Obviously, good to get back in practice, and just really play basketball and work on getting better at basketball, work on, getting better as a team, competing. That's always fun. So, yes.
Over the past before you even took some time away, you said this, and Steve has kind of touched on this over the past couple of days. It's going to take time to kind of build trust back. Where do you feel the trust level is with yourself from your teammates? And I mean, what do you feel that you need to do to build that back?
Yeah, I don't. When everyone says like build trust as a team, I don't really quite understand that. What's trust? Is it trust that you're going to make the right play? I think I always make the right play. I mean, to the best of my ability. I don't always make the right play, but to the best of my ability. So, is it that? Is it like, what is that? I think, what we do have to do is make sure we're together, make sure we're doing the necessary things that it takes to win a championship, make sure we got each other's back. But I think of so many different things when I hear the word trust that I'm not always certain that that is the most fitting word for what people are trying to say. I think it always sounds good, and everyone kind of has this idea of what that means, but yet, what does that truly mean? I don't quite know.
Do you have a word in this instance that you
I
think?
think it's making sure our team camaraderie is right. I think that's always important. Like, you can tell when you're playing against a team and they have bad camaraderie, you can tell right away. I know I can. I kind of feel for that. You're looking to see if they got good camaraderie, because if not, they can be broken easy. And so I think for me, as a leader on this team, like, you just got to make sure you have good camaraderie. If you have that, you can almost build through anything if you got good camaraderie amongst your guys.
Do you feel that camaraderie is strong right now?
I don't think that's something that really gets very shooken. You have incidents and things that takes place over the course of a year, but I think, your camaraderie is built on who you have on your team to the core, and I know, at the core of what we've built, we have great guys. We have, we have competitors. We have, guys who want to win. And so, when you have that, I think camaraderie is a strength of ours, and I don't think that'll be taken away because we have an incident that takes place. No matter how good, no matter how bad, I think that goes deeper than what happens on a day-to-day or what could happen on one particular day.
Draymond, a lot of people have been talking about the length of your suspension or whatever you want to call it, you being away from the team, and maybe it's too short or whatever. Why do you think that this length of being away from the team or punishment was the necessary step in this?
Quite frankly, I don't think that's everyone's business. The conversations that I've had with people in this organization, with my teammates, the conversation that other people has had with my teammates, the conversations that teammates has had amongst each other, those are the conversations that matter. And ultimately, if we all have conversations and we decide that we think that's best, then at the end of the day, that's what matters, not what someone else's opinion is at the end of the day. It's about what we feel in this organization is best together, not what someone else thinks. I'm pretty certain Jordan had input. Steph had input. Looney had input. Andre had input. Clay had input. And ultimately, you come to what you think the best decision is, and taking all of that into account. We've all had those conversations. So, if I'm being quite honest, I don't really care what other people think. I don't wake up and come to practice with other people. I don't go to bed at night wondering what the hell the people who think it should be longer is doing, or longer, or whatever. Whatever someone may think, that's really not quite my worry or care. My care is what guys in this locker room think, what people in this organization think. Outside of that, I can really care less what someone has to say.
This incident has kind of sparked a wider conversation about your future with the Warriors. I mean, which was already, kind of coming up, obviously, with the unsettled contract situation. What is your general view of, your future here, and do you feel like this incident may have impacted that at all?
My general view of the future here is I'm here this year trying to win a championship. I have a contract that ranges through next year. If I so choose to pick up that option, and that is my view of how it'll be here. We all have a goal to win a championship, and that is that. As far as what I think of a contract or an extension, we started the season, we started camp, and I spoke on that at the very beginning and said I don't think we'll do an extension. Quite frankly, that doesn't mean that I won't be back here. I just don't think we'll do an extension this year. And so I said that at the beginning of camp. That's not something that I'm going to talk about all year. We got a championship to win. I'm not one to let conversations about my future or what I'm going to do next year or what someone else is going to. I don't get off into that. I don't like to let contract drama linger, especially when it's involving me. Quite frankly, what other people do with their contracts, or if you're going to let a contract situation linger, then you better be damn sure that you're willing to handle all the effects of a contract lingering that it can have on the team. And quite frankly, everybody don't do that. We've seen LeBron James have contract situations. We've seen Steph Curry have contract situations, and they handle it, and they handle it the way it's supposed to be handled. Can't say that for everyone. And so if you're going to let a contract situation linger, you better be ready to deal with what comes with that every single day and the effects that it can have from a day-to-day situation. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. And quite frankly, I'm not willing to deal with that every day. So my contract is what it is. I have 2 years left on my deal, including this year. and I am a Golden State Warrior trying to win another championship in this organization. That's what it is for me. That's not something that I'm going to harp on all year.
Draymond, being that this is a business, whether you guys are best friends or not, it's neither here nor there. But where's your feeling about the business side of how you and Jordan will be from this point forward? And then also, what was the best counsel you've received during this last week?
As far as us moving forward, Jordan's a professional, I'm a professional. We have a job to do. We both have experienced a lot of winning over the course of our lives, and we know what that takes. And so we're going to do just that, what it takes to win. And I think that's the most important thing. As far as advice for me, I've had a bunch of great advice. Just not necessarily alienate, but just to point out one piece of advice or from one particular person, it wouldn't be doing justice of all of the conversations and different things, different people reaching out that I've had. So I am very appreciative of people that have reached out and giving words of advice, words of encouragement. It doesn't go unnoticed. I'm very appreciative of that. So I would be lying if I sat here and said there's only one thing, or one person that gave me some advice that just stood out amongst so many people. Like I have great people in my corner. And I'm appreciative of that.
Draymond, I know you guys are just coming off the title, but do you feel like with this group there's still another level of like cohesion and something you guys can get, this year with Wiggins and everybody?
I think as you grow with a group, you that can always get better. And I don't think that's something that we've struggled with over the years, and having teams that's together. Like I said before, that's been a strength of ours, and so I don't expect that to be any different. I do think, another year of playing together, it helps, because you just continue to build the familiarity amongst each other. And so I don't doubt for one second that we'll continue to build that and that this group can continue to get better and that there's more levels that this group can reach.
Draymond, the closest parallel to this preseason situation with you and Jordan, you and your relationship with KD comes to mind with what happened a few years ago. And you and KD were able to get past it. And I know you and Jordan were really close when he got in the league. Do you think you guys will be able to get back to that point to where you guys were?
I'm not sure. As I said before, that's not up to me. So nor do I think there's much relevance. Quite frankly, we both know how to play basketball, and that is the most important thing for us. We're paid to do a job, and we're going to come and do that job to the best of our ability. And, we want to continue to win, so we're going to do what we have to do to win. Everything else outside of that, number one, be handled amongst us, but number two, it's neither here nor there. What we do on the basketball court is what's important. I think sometimes we get so caught up into trying to analyze people's lives instead of analyzing basketball. And one thing I'm damn sure of is we play good basketball together, hence the fact we won a championship. So we'll continue to build on that.
Draymond, you finished the year such a high, winning the title, playing well. You came in camp, looked like you were in really good shape, and now you're 32. What's in store for you this year, and is your motivation at an all-time high to produce?
Yeah, I'm going to prove a lot of people wrong this year. I've been proving people wrong my whole life. So, there's some added motivation and not quite proving people wrong, because the same people that's talking now have been the same people that's talking forever, and they've been wrong the entire time. And, then they just give new hot takes about how you can't do it this time, but never acknowledge the time that the million times that they said you couldn't do it and were wrong. So not quite motivated by those people, but there are definitely some motivations coming from that's been sparked by some people, and I'm going to use that, and I'm going to do exactly what I do when I'm motivated in a major way. And I think you and I both know what that is. So I'm looking forward to this year. It's going to be a fun year.
Yeah, but it seemed to make a lot of sense that you guys got a championship. You're really deep. Maybe the expectation was you'd rest more than normal, kind of be prepared for defending the title in the playoffs. Is that kind of out the window, or you feel like you can?
I feel great. As far as when I rest, as I've stated before, I trust Rick and Dave and their process and, you know, their judgment and what they think and their opinion. And so I try to trust in that and follow their guidance as they're the experts on that side of things. But I feel amazing. I feel like I'm in pretty good shape. My game feel good. I feel great. Like I'm going to have an incredible year.
Draymond, I'm just looking for clarity on something you said. You talked about how contract lingering can have an effect on the team and that you better be ready to deal with like what comes on that every single day. Are you saying that like a contract lingering, is that it is a player? Is it the organization? Is it front office people that have to deal with it? Like who, what do you mean by that?
Everybody has to deal with it. Front office has to deal with it. Players have to deal with it. Representation has to deal with it. Everyone has to deal with it. But what I'm speaking on is I'm speaking on a player. You know, if you're going to leave contracts in limbo, you better be somebody that's willing to stand in front of that and not hide behind it. And I'm not really willing to stand in front of that.
So what do you
although if it was something that I wanted to deal with lingering, you know, if it's a decision I'm making and that's going to continue to linger, then yes, I will stand in front of that. But if that's not some decision that I'm making, you know, like, oh, you're making this decision to not sign this and continue to move forward, and figure, then yeah, you stand on it. But that wasn't a decision that I made, so that's not something that, some drama that I'm going to stand in front of. It is what it is. Again, quite frankly, I have 2 years left on my deal, and that's my focus, how I'm going to complete those 2 years. Now, in saying that, yes, I do have an option at the end of this year. I have pretty great representation that made sure I had an option for the next year. So, you know, when it's time to make that decision, then I'll stand in front of it, and whatever decision I make is the decision that I make, and I'll speak on it and answer whatever question about it. But if I'm not the one making the decision, then that's not for me to stand in front of.
I had one quick one. Last year, you know, it was the win and develop type plan, but, you know, generally when it came to the playoffs, the rookies didn't play and you guys had veterans who could play. This year it does seem like the youth has to play 2 more rookies. How does it feel different this season, you know?
Well, it's going to feel different because there's just more expectations when you win a championship. Amongst ourselves, there don't seem to be much expectation outside of here. You know, unless you're Stephen A. that kind of calls it the right way and gets it right and then call it again the same way. Probably going to get it right again. You know, but for the most part, you know, there's not, you know, those same people that said we have 14% chance to win finals are the same people that saying I think they maybe said we're an 8 seed now, and yet they're still respected as basketball minds. Got to be more careful.